Hello, you're watching World Talks on TVP World. My name is Sascha Fahrbach. Czech President Petr Pavel has formally rejected Andrej Babiš's proposed candidate for foreign minister, citing serious concerns over extremist and racist statements linked to Motorist Party figure Filip Nerad. The move adds another layer of challenges to the coalition-building process, as Babiš himself faces parallel pressure to resolve his own conflict of interest over Agrofert. Now joining us now is Filip Nerad, Director of Communications and Marketing at GLOBSEC, to help us understand more behind all this. Thanks so much for being here on TVP World. Good morning.
Good morning from Prague.
So let's go to Prague politics. First of all, what does this rejection by the President of Czech Republic, what does this mean internally? How should we interpret this in terms of such a senior figure on this potential coalition being rejected? Give us your take.
Well, that means that President Pavel wants to be sure that the new government won't be controversial in a foreign policy field, because that's an area where he himself acts as a representative of a Czech Republic and wants to be sure that someone who will take in charge of Czech foreign policy will be person without any conflicts or controversies. And you already some of them with Filip Nerad. There are a lot of controversies connected, and he said it from the very beginning. He doesn't want such a figure in charge of the foreign policy. So the Motorist Party was ready to concede and propose his leader Petr Matzinka instead of him, and nominated Filip Nerad as the new environmental minister.
Okay. Just also brief our viewers just very quickly now, for those who are not aware of who the Motorists are. I mean, this is one of these potential coalition partners going into Andrej Babiš's cabinet. What makes them, let's say, in terms of candidates, we now know two of the names. Do they have more that are suitable? I mean, what does the pool look like here? And what if, because I mean, if I look at the proposals, it's 4 from the Motorists in this coalition now as proposed in the cabinet.
Yeah, it's a pretty new party, established around people who are close to former Czech President Václav Klaus. That's the case also of the leader of the party, Petr Matzinka, who is his long-term aide. He served also as his spokesperson and manager of his institute that he started after he left the presidential office. So they are really close connected, and I would say also ideologically. So the same as Václav Klaus, Petr Matzinka is, let's say, critical towards EU and a lot of EU initiatives, mainly regarding the Green Deal and migration policy. The party itself, it's let's say right-wing conservative party, and it's a part of the Patriots of Europe group in the European Parliament.
But also Patriots of Europe, that's actually the same party where ANO is actually also connected to, so it's interesting that that's also there. I'm just wondering, in terms of the profile of Filip Nerad, I mean, this is someone, correct me if I'm wrong, who is actually under investigation at the moment for very, very offensive remarks, racist remarks, with that Nazi salute that came up not so long ago. I mean, what kind of, let's say, even if he's not part of the cabinet at all, it doesn't seem that way he will, what kind of role will he play, and what does this mean for the credibility of the party in any future Czech government?
Yeah, but on the other hand, he's the most attractive person of the party, and he was the really one who attracts voters to vote for this party. He's best known figure in this party. A lot of people who voted Motorists voted them because of him. So he's someone who is very visible, who's well known on social media especially, and that's the place where they were able to pick their voters. So he's very important for the party, and that's why they wanted to him in the next government.
Okay. So as you said, with him now out, how precarious, let's say, I mean, the voters might be disappointed now. I mean, for that particular party, how much does this now impact on coalition dynamics going forward?
I wouldn't say that there's a kind of disappointment. He should be part of this new government, even though Czech President Petr Pavel said that he doesn't want him in the government at all. So he also is not happy to have him as a environment minister. So the talks are going on if he should stay in the government or not. But yeah, that's one part of the discussion of the forming of the next government. Another one, and maybe more important, is the debate about conflict of interest of Andrej Babiš, because that's the first step for the forming of the new Czech government. First, the president must appoint new prime minister. That should be Andrej Babiš as the leader of the ANO party, the strongest party in the parliament. But before that, President Pavel wants Andrej Babiš to say publicly how he will solve his conflict of interest. Before that, he is not ready to appoint him. And even after he said it, he will say it publicly, president is ready to appoint him, and the forming of the new government officially started.
Mm-hmm. So let's dive into that a little bit further. You mentioned this conflict of interest, which is raised, also that President Pavel has an issue with. So, I mean, Babiš seems to be of a different mind here. So why has this come up in this way, and how do you see it kind of resolve itself?
Yeah, because already even European Union and also Czech law said that Andrej Babiš is in conflict of interest, and if he stayed there, it might resolve in, let's say, stopping EU funds for Czech companies, for the whole Czech Republic, possibly. And that's something that President Pavel doesn't want to allow. That's why he said, and he said it even before the election to Andrej Babiš, I'm ready to appoint you as a new prime minister if you win election. And he repeated it also after the election, after ANO won this election. I'm ready to appoint you, but before that, say publicly how do you resolve this conflict of interest so there won't be any, and there won't be any problems with European unions with receiving of EU funds for the Czech Republic. So that's the only condition that President Pavel said to Andrej Babiš. Andrej Babiš repeats that he is ready to do it, but until now he didn't mention how he wants to do it. So we are still waiting on his step and this public announcement how he will solve his situation, and then the appointment and forming the government can go on.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like, in a way, that potentially Babiš is playing for time here. So what does he gain by delaying this resolution of the conflict of interest?
Nobody knows, but maybe he tried to hedge somehow the situation and way that President Pavel won't push him into this step. But President Pavel seems to be hard on this and push on every meeting. Andrej Babiš, do it, say it publicly how you will solve the conflict of interest, and then you will be prime minister. So it seems Andrej Babiš has no other chance than to do it, and that's now on him and to find the right time when he does it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, but I'm just also wondering, if we're looking into the future, how much, if, let's say, the president is unsatisfied with this proposal, I mean, how does it work constitutionally? Is the president in a position to then reject if he's not happy with Babiš as the prime minister? Could that be one of the trajectories of all this? Or is he constrained in some way? How does this work constitutionally in the next few weeks?
Well, until there's a new prime minister appointed, all the powers are in hands of President Pavel, and he really can decide it himself who he will nominate or appoint as a new prime minister. So until the appointment new prime minister, it's up to president. After this appointment, it's more difficult, because then the new prime minister have some tools how to reject or how to fight with president. But until then, Andrej Babiš has like no tools against president, because he's a, let's say, normal member of parliament and nothing more currently. So actually, now it's president has a strong position after appointment of new prime minister. It won't be much on a new prime minister. Also regarding the nominations of ministers and so on. So that's how the playfield is now.
All right, so let's go in and see how you perceive it in the next coming days and weeks. So will Turek be pushed in somehow again? Is this final? And do you see these coalition talks go on for quite longer until we have a full government? How do you see it play out in the next few weeks?
Well, Andrej Babiš said that he wants to be at the European Council in the middle of December. So if he wants to be there, he needs to get the nomination at least one day before that. So yeah, I think he will try to solve the situation in the coming weeks, so that he can be appointed in the middle of December, new prime minister, and then go to Brussels. So that's his goal, and we will see if he will succeed it in this way.
All right, so I can imagine many phone calls and meetings until we get that final decision. Look, thank you so much for that comprehensive analysis. That was Filip Nerad. Much appreciated.
Thank you for having me. Have a nice day.
And thank you for joining us here on World Talks. But there's much more coming up right here on TVP World, so don't go away.